How are you?
Hey, how we doing?
Oh, get ready for Halloween.
Great.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I don't know how nice this is. He has to cut. English. But we're trying. It's going to be all children's books themes.
Oh, okay.
Feel like taking a break?
Sure.
Awesome.
I don't want to take a break for a long time.
That would give you a reason, one. After you, love.
How was food truck night?
Slow. And now it gets dark by like 7, which is why I wanted to end this when school started. But nobody wants to listen to my vote.
Just for some matter of privacy in the door.
Okay, no problem.
Well, because personally, I still have some concerns, obviously.
We just wanted to follow up with part of the conversation you and I had the other day when I stopped in here. Josh and I are filing a complaint with the state police, and we're doing some cyber. We went to the Attorney General and found some of the places to follow up with this gentleman in the situation that I told you about. In doing so, we have to be able to lay out all the information and everything that we have. And in regards to that, when we had spoken the other day, we had briefly talked about the videotape and the incident from that night. And
No.
part of...
Josh, I played that. Not right now. It only goes 10 days.
Is it digital or is it VHS?
No, it's
Looks like a hide. I mean, from the cameras outside, because I've never seen it, it looks like it's not a VHS tape.
Yeah,
No,
we know that you
no.
don't
Let her
have...
speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I know that you don't have that.
Right. But
Digital
she was
copy
just about
anymore.
to.
I don't, but I'll go to my grave not understanding it. Because I thought maybe it was like, sometimes like it looks like it's not recording if for some reason the system has done something. But when I played it, this camera was on. The camera at the driveway was on. The camera at the fish pond was on. Every camera recorded that time except the camera over the driveway.
Now, see, this is where.
Now there was
I'm sorry.
kids riding. Riding. Blank. One more kid riding and you disassembling everything.
That blank moment was for some time, not 4 minutes, possibly 7. I mean, could you have just an idea of? It wasn't just seconds, correct?
No.
Okay.
It was
So it was
a
a
chunk of.
That's
I
what.
will tell you, both of you, I'll be very honest with you. It was a terrible feeling for me because I'm thinking, okay, who had access to this room?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry.
That began to put doubts in my mind about people that I don't like to doubt.
That is why, partly why we're here, is because when I explained to him part of our conversation and the avenues in which we're seeking to continually to make sure that we're protected and that we're documenting the situation in which we've gone through, part of that process is we have to document the complaints and some of the things that have gone on so that way there's a full picture.
May I, please?
Yes.
Because, and I'd like to just take the floor for a moment and try to just clarify some stuff and get a good point out. Now, as you've stated to us, you have to do what you have to do for the establishment.
I have to.
You have to do whatever you have to do for the establishment, the Dream, your board members, etc. Well, to touch on that evening for a moment while we were closing up, it's just ironic that somebody had mentioned to us how amazing that the course looked through the cameras.
How amazing was
The course looked lighted through the cameras.
But yet that part was missing.
Who said that?
The only person on scene right now other than us. Okay, may I please?
I'm saying that.
No, I'm just... So, with that being said, I've been very concerned because and she can lay a tribute to this, when we decided, we noticed we had issues with our web designer person like we subcontracted a paint job, these subbed out these jobs, and things started to go awry. When we decided that we didn't want to continue any longer, she took down our website.
On the 12th.
Which enacted a whole bunch of questionable activity in return. An imaginary third-party person, like this Brandon Williams, which you already know is this person, but it's like his fake profile, like all this stuff started to take place. And on that 14th, we all of a sudden have a problem. One of which is digital now, practically it could be construed as a digital crime because that's evidence. Any digital recording is considered evidence. I mean, for any purposes, that is your documentation. And to have that documentation manipulated in any way is a crime. So if those occurrences that we possibly took place, an individual has committed a crime. And that crime, I mean, it may seem minuscule, but now you see we have a Facebook page that we can't do a comment, we can't do anything about by that person at the same time this video was gone poof. Anything that could basically invalidate
had it been
either or, validate or invalidate, either way, had it been there. Why is that? It's circumstantial, but very coincidental. Both of them calls things into question. People's honesty, people's integrity, many of these things now we have, which leads to all of a sudden we continue to try to get our stuff down. This gentleman had a digital copy of my daughter on a personal server, trying to extort our company, trying to impersonate us, as well as potentially, which we don't know, use her for some type of child exploitation. Because the only images on there pretty much of her.
right,
What you see of her is of her taking pictures of her. You don't see her much.
right.
So there's a lot of other things. So then we go ahead and we do the legal things to get that site down. And now all of a sudden, a barrage of phone calls out of nowhere after you spoke to this woman and said, to my knowledge, that something that I'm relaying because I heard a third party. You said that she shot herself in the foot by saying she had ridden through our course before. Now that's not even written in her post. Ever that she's ridden through us. Only that she sat at the picnic tables week after week and heard how awful we were, but then puts her children in our custody.
Yeah.
That's when.
So these are areas that when are given to the state police, the IC3, ICE, which is internet crimes and everything, because we're going after him very, very hard right now, because what he has done is he's tried to sabotage and manipulate us in every shape or form. Now we can't even almost come back here. Now, because you have to protect your board of directors. Now, what would they think if they had any idea that this kind of thing was even possibly going on right now? Because, I'm scared for my business. I don't even want to do a party for somebody because who knows what's going to happen next.
But we don't know to the extent of his reach, and we're treating it as if he is infiltrating us because of the fact.
Well, that's why I said to you, after the phone calls, and after you told me, Rebecca, because I had no idea what was going on, not only was the decision not to have you come, because I have to safeguard the impossible dream, but I thought, and I said this to Rachel, how easy it would have been to set you up.
There's still that possibility. Now
but I didn't want, but the possibility, Josh, is stronger when someone knows where you are every Thursday. So now you get some. Last night I spent, except for having to pick my nephew up from the hospital, I spent most of the time looking for tall blonde.
He's actually approached us, trying to get us to introduce you to do his.
I told her that already. Well, I said if a guy named Jim don't.
Well, he said, "Well, how can I get in touch with Diane so I can basically do the website for her?" We don't know. We don't have any access to that.
No, here's the thing. No one can touch my website, okay? Nor can I hand it to anybody to improve or, because it's all dream information. not on my website.
Mhm.
It's so hard for people to understand. This isn't my desk. Nothing here belongs to you. Your cars belong to you. Your extra batteries belong to you. None of this is mine.
And not,
My pocketbook is mine.
right,
Mhm.
but this is also part of why we're here. Like, even though none of this is yours, we still, I think, as a group, as a family, or whatever we are supposed to be, co-partners, co-business. I don't know what to capacity our relationship is, but I think there is some kind of possible, I don't want to say obligation is the right word, but something to help us navigate some of this, especially if it comes down to law enforcement. I need to be able to say that Diane told us this and not have it come back to her, well, I didn't say that.
Well, we
Well,
like
no.
to be transparent people, and you know that from the
I
get-go.
would
And
never, ever deny.
Because this is a serious crime, and it's all in a whole digital level where...
No, here's the thing. There is no way that I can tell you for any certainty at all how that happened.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Nor do I want to speculate.
Could it have been electronic fluke? I suppose it could. I don't know enough about electronics.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Could someone have gotten in there and done it? There was a period of time where the door was not locked, which is not acceptable, but it happened. And there was a man here, my biker friend, who runs a biker run for us, bringing in boxes of t-shirts, extra t-shirts from the run. So Mary was showing him where to put them, blah, blah, blah. That door was unlocked. Was it identical to the time it was erased? I can't tell you that. I can't. When I'm not on the grounds, I can't be certain of anything. When I'm here, I can be certain of most things.
Mm-hmm.
Does it give you pause for thought? Yeah, it really does. Every time I think of it, I get that twisting feeling like, how can this be a coincidence? No.
And that's why we're like, oh my God, like, how far is this person willing to go to sabotage something that...
Because it's that very next day after we not only took our content off a personal server, and then he gave us some wild thing about, I'll meet you in the middle and give you your domain back.
Yeah.
You call us the next morning as we're leaving our conference at the children's and tell us, well, I just got a barrage of phone calls. I can't have you here. It was almost a 40, not even a 24-hour period, man. Not even 24 hours.
Yeah, because the 12th of September we took our site down. The 14th we had the first...
Yeah, no, and I said, I didn't...
And you said that after you talked to her, sorry to cut you off, that it's okay, let's just try it one more time.
Initially.
Initially.
Yep.
And
yeah.
then...
Thing on Facebook, and you took down your box of tissues, and as I said, I really felt the woman shot herself in the foot when she said this was his fourth time writing. Well, let me tell you something, Josh. I raised 3 sons. If the first time I didn't like your attitude, my sons would never leave your company again. Never mind 3 more times. And I don't care how many times my kid yin-yang, I want to ride. In fact, if I felt that adverse to who you were and having my children around me, I wouldn't have come back to Truck Night. You can go to McDonald's and get a burger. You don't have to come here. And your kids could still come to my playground because it's only a 3-hour window that you're in my playground.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of options. And when she said that, I thought, your credibility just went down the tubes a little bit. And then that was that. Then there was
there was
nothing.
silence for about a week.
And I don't know if it was a full week, but
Yeah.
give or take. And then,
Fair enough.
hello, you have a guy there with, cars. Yeah, I just want you to know, he shouldn't be around children. He's this, he's that. Oh my God. So I said, well, you know what? I'm happy to listen to you. I'm sorry you had a negative experience, but name calling doesn't mean anything to me. That's what you do in second grade. Can you give me some particulars other than saying he had an attitude? I mean, what does that mean? Did he have an attitude of safety, of concern, or did he have an attitude when he didn't like your child? Define this. Well, I'm just saying. Okay, I will take that into consideration. Well, I don't think you should have him there anymore. I said, well, man, with all due respect to whoever you are, that will be my decision, not yours. I said, truck season is winding down, and I thought, I'm not going to give you any satisfaction. I said, I really don't know because I don't organize it. I said, but I'll ask the gentleman who organizes it if they are slated to come anymore. I have a feeling that that was the end of the season for them because they have other things, blah, blah, blah. I thought, in case what the hell you are, you come on a Thursday night, I want you to think you had the power to do this. The other thing is last Thursday night and the Thursday night before, I purposely looked over there to see if there was anybody sitting at the bench. There was nobody. So this woman, I come every Thursday and sit at the bench, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where she was. But,
Oh, they only come and sit there when we're there because we're entertainment.
you know, like I said.
But no, they didn't give you, hi, my name's so-and-so. It was
No.
all anonymous.
And I can't say.
Yeah.
I know you couldn't
Unless
tell me
you-
names anyway, I'm just
No,
curious.
I tell you the names.
Oh, sorry.
No, if I can't say, well, I need your, I can't.
Right.
Like I said to you, Josh, Diane can do a lot. The director of the Dream can do very little. I have to watch everything I say when I talk on that phone. Because I'm not speaking for me, I'm speaking for the charity. It's a very hard role because I always have to put how I think aside and think like the director of a charity. Because the lady on the end of that phone could be Mrs. Attorney General, she could be Mrs. Hasbro, she could be Mrs. Rhode Island Foundation, who the hell knows?
Yes.
You don't. So when I speak, someone brings a complaint to me, I have to make them feel like it is the utmost of my concern. When I want to turn around and say, you fucking kidding me? But I can't. Yeah.
Understood. I completely understand that, and I've never questioned that.
No, there are times, believe me, there are times out there where I'm getting called every name in the book for free pleasure.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
amazed at some of the things people. The kid who jumped on the roof that day, I was just like, really?
Yeah.
Where the hell are your
Let me tell you,
parents?
Rachel, this is the most rewarding job, helping children, but it is the toughest job you'll ever do. Because I have to go out and say, excuse me, we don't allow that, that's not safe, he could get hurt. But I want to turn around and say, now what the hell are you doing? You're the parent. Shut the fucking cell phone off.
Can you ask them to leave?
The only way that I can ask someone to leave my playground is if they're breaking a rule and I tell them once and they continue to ignore it.
Gotcha.
Then I can say, I'm sorry, but because, you know, you didn't heed my warning, you're going to have to remove your child.
Now, our rules kind of can be in place. Let's say if we were, this never happened and our rules were in play, and if we would have used the 3 strikes you're out rule, would that still constitute over there even though it had no playground gravity?
No. See, like, if...
I'm going to say out of the park, but out of our course.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, if someone is, like, say, using a swing as the wheelchair swings, okay?
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be for wheelchairs.
Yeah, I'll go out there and say, excuse me. You know, honey, you're not in a wheelchair, so, you know, you're not supposed to use that swing. That's so children in a wheelchair can swing just like you.
Okay.
And they can be very dangerous because they're very heavy. So if you swing in and you hit your friend, you're going to hurt them. Several times I've done that. It's been fine. The child has not rebuked me. He's gone off the swing, went on the merry way. One time I went out and the kid really had it. It takes a lot to get it going because it's designed to have a lot of weight in it. So, but once you get it airborne, that thing is a lethal weapon. This kid had got some gusto. So I went over and I, tried not to get hurt and to slow it down and eventually stop it. I said, I'm sorry, but you can't do that on the swing. Well, all of a sudden, I got this raging idiot of a mother telling me that I'm not supposed to speak to her child. I should speak to her. So I looked at her and said, excuse me, ma'am. When I came out here and this chair was really going back and forth, you were nowhere to be found. So how am I supposed to speak to you? Am I supposed to go around the playground trying to find this child's mother while a kid can walk by and this very heavy diamond nickel plate swing is going to go and someone's going to get hurt? No, my first goal is safety. And if I can accomplish that through a parent, that's fine. If I can't, then I'm not going to. And if you don't like that, then you can't play in my playground. What did I want to tell you? Get that out?
You did in the right way.
Yeah, well, I always have to use terms like, if you can't, then you can't. I can never say, get out. It's going to be.
All right.
It's wearing. You get tired dealing with the public like that.
Just trying to put our timeline together and phrase stuff correctly for these reports that we're filling out. It's like we're constantly going through and making sure they understand the gravity of it. Like, just because the website at the moment is down and we have our .com in our possession now doesn't mean that we don't know what he's going to do with the copy
He still has the digital copy.
And not only does he still have that digital copy,
he has all the content and everything else.
Stole it from us, and the only reason why we got anything back, Diane, is because we're persistent people. We sent him a cease to desist. Like, we took things in the appropriate manner.
My big concern, I mean, your business, of course, is a concern, but my major concern would be your daughter's image.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we were able to get Wicks to listen to us. We're like, he has unauthorized use of our daughter's image. She's a beautiful little girl. I mean, we don't know. Yeah.
It was on a personal server, and this is where
personal server.
This is why I'm getting infuriated, and I'm sorry that when you called us at the Dream, you could hear me yelling, but this guy has been, like, and then he had this custody of someone who's taunting me with it. Like, we have verbal proof, like, I got this, and it's going to stay in place, and we advertise.
But he literally told us, I don't really care what you have to say. This website is staying active, along with its paid advertisement until it runs its course, which he was supposed to have like AdSense up there to help us generate income.
And the course was a year, because
and he
that's
never
our paid
set it up for us to have money.
He had water.
It's called AdSense. It's Google AdSense. You get traffic to a site, and if people click on it, you make a percentage of whatever that click is, or something along those. I don't know the full sense of it.
But what?
So now, not only did he steal your website, but he was making money off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And what he would do too is he put our involuntarily, but he tried to make it coy when he did it. He put us on the Little General. He put us on his own page. He started plastering us all everywhere. Come see our friends at Case Customs. And I didn't know this. He's like, oh, look what this great stuff I'm doing for you. I'm like, okay. I mean, I didn't ask you to do this.
Because he knew that the more clicks and the more generation
traffic.
of traffic to the website got, the more chances his revenue would go up.
He's always saying, make sure you write Case Customs at everything.
When we first got it, I have emails upon emails, text messages, everything. Rachel, you forgot to put casecustoms.com on this website, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting there. Like, seriously, like, give me a chance.
There was a reason why he was doing these things, because he had
Now, does that bring this to another level that, in essence, he's making money off your daughter's image?
Yes. And that's what we're trying to also...
And this is how we're trying to word it. I mean, unfortunately, I called the state police because we went to the Attorney General yesterday, and we found out, unfortunately, we were slightly misled in the fact that the Attorney General does consumer to business, not business to business. But the woman there sat with us and then gave us some more information, and everyone has suggested us that we go to the state police because it's cyber, and because he's in Cranston, we're in Warwick, his business is technically in Lincoln, even though we met him in Cranston. So there's a jurisdictional thing. I called the state police yesterday and said, I'm having a cyber crime. My daughter's been exploited. You know, there's other things going on. Who do I need to talk to? Oh, well, come down to the Situate barracks. Explain your story again. I don't want you to talk about it too much over the phone. We'll either have an officer take your complaint so we can initially have a complaint, or we'll get you to the right person. Because when we've called to get lawyers, they've all said to us, we can't talk to you till you actually file a complaint. We go there, and the guy barrades me with all these ridiculous questions. I'm like,
stonewalled us
at the door, to the point where Josh and I left, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
We left because I tried to speak, and he wouldn't let me even say a word without seeing my ID. It felt like I was in frickin' Stalin.
We weren't even inside the barracks. We were at the window.
He's like, I need to see your ID. I'm like, I can't even.
So why did the Attorney General tell you to go there?
It's a cyber crime, and that's
because there's
how
cyber crime, and they figured that the state police would have more jurisdiction across the state of Rhode Island. So what the files that we're filing, the reports and complaints, are all federal right now, because that's where we've found the most assistance for any type of crime. When we submit it and they read it and they get a hold of us, we'll find out how severe they feel as though, I mean, all we can do, Diane, as we've done with you, is say, these are the incidences that have happened. You know, where do we fall? You know, when we went through other issues, people are like, it's civil, it's not this. Well, this is now theft. Even though we got most of our property back, it still transpired. If I stole something from
you stole my car, even if you brought it back,
it's still a crime.
You stole my car.
Exactly. So if you stole our .com and registered it improperly, and not only that, you lied on the documentation. He tried to say that we were a charity, and that's why he did the free work.
Billing, all kinds of stuff.
I give to charities. Josh and I will give the shirt off our back to someone in freeze. That's the way we are. That's why we do what we do. But I never said I was a charity or a nonprofit. You're telling me you did the work and didn't charge us the $1,000 he charged us like almost $1,000, but then wrote it off as charitable.
If you charity, I have to tell you why.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't be .com.
.org. That's right. I didn't even think of that.
Wow.
With .org, there are a lot of things you don't have to do that you have to do with .com.
Huh?
But one of the things you have to do with .org is to submit paperwork that you're a valid nonprofit. Now, if you guys were a valid nonprofit, you couldn't have registered your .com.
Because it would have already been taken care of.
No, it would have come right back and said, you're not a board member. You're not listed with this charity. You can't do this. Like anybody can take the words of the Impossible Dream. You can't copyright that. Okay? So the Impossible Dream charity is copyrighted with the logo. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't start a business tomorrow that's named the Impossible Dream. That's okay. But .org, following the Impossible Dream, is mine.
Right.
Okay. Nobody else can have ImpossibleDream.org. They can put something different .org.
Yep.
Mix it up. So he couldn't do it .org. And he knew that. And if he thought you were a charity, he would have never done .com.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that, because
he is either one of two things. Really a bullshit artist or stupid.
I think I'm leaning towards a little bit of both, and didn't realize that we were just not going to be like, oh, okay.
Just the way he would talk to Josh versus the way he would talk to me was a whole different world.
No, what to say to you guys are you're a charity, but I did .com.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely keep that in. But part of it is when we finish this report, we need to have it as concise and as clear as possible with as much detail. And unfortunately, some of it leads back to here because it started with, okay, we took this down, we got the report, now that this review, which seems to have
and
digital.
we never want you to be like, oh my, I like to be open book.
I don't want to have it blindsiding you.
I don't have a problem telling anybody what occurred. Yeah, like I said, as far as the tape is concerned.
Yeah, you don't know.
You got to say what you.
It bothers me. It casts doubts on people I don't want to doubt. And I'll never know exactly what happened. There's no way to know.
Mm.
So I choose not to think this person did it, but I don't let you go there because I feel like it'd be very unfair.
Yeah.
To the pool of people I'm thinking of. That's that.
It's either that or you had a malfunction, which both are very valid possibilities.
Well, malfunction is less valid.
Correct.
Only because
All the other computers.
Well, the only thing is, if they really push the issue because of the child aspect, they may want that hard drive to pull through. Because they can splice the shit out of that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
may. Then it's rewritten.
Well, they have technology.
If we were to get that far along.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that.
They have amazing
Because
technology.
the guy that runs this company, who was, what was that, all the cameras, did all the digital work, he did everything. Super guy, all for the bubble. Very nice, doesn't charge me monthly, nothing. When we had the woman decide that, plain English, her fat ass spit on a kid's glider and fell off it, I didn't get the lawyer's letter till 10 days later. So I called the guy and I said, any way you can retrieve that? I said, no, Diane. And I said, what if her lawyer wants it? He said, her lawyer can take your machine. He said, you can process it 7 ways to Sunday. It's rewritten.
But see, the way hard drive works is every layer is legible. There's stuff that can.
If they really wanted to go deep.
I think I have that.
Oh, it's not a hard drive?
Oh, sometimes they have just
okay.
the
If it's a hard drive. Oh, okay, never mind.
You know, it's just, it was put in because of vandalism.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, I remember. Well, I don't
So
remember.
that if I walked in the next one and saw what I saw that morning,
You could.
I would have it right there.
Got it.
Not that, you know, I mean, it would have been nice to have that woman falling off the swing. Would have been, but the other thing is, not every square inch of my playground is taped.
No.
You can't. It's too big. You know, that's why we...
Oh, I thought it was a hard
Think
drive.
of the lady. Excuse me, on the swing.
All right.
I
Well,
think all kinds of bullshit. Sometimes I say, lock the place up and walk away. It's not worth it. But
No, we're definitely not trying to bring more drama or grief, but now this is
I'm talking.
we got to defend our
drama
company.
out there. No, you have to do it.
And then especially Carissa.
That, do you know what? Everything else is small potatoes.
Yep.
But I don't even know how you will ever be assured that he doesn't have her photo somewhere.
well, that's why even though we've gotten the majority of our property back minus the copy that he has, because we have all these unsures, we're just going to keep pursuing to protect ourselves.
I mean, because one of my things is too, if we would use casecustoms.com again, he could be lying in wait with a redirect and then take that traffic